Hi everyone, my name is Miss Leone and I'm going to go over navigating Google features. I'd like to give a special shout out to Miss Castillo for formatting these slides for us. I would also like to give a shout out to Miss Rogers, Miss King, Miss Martinez, and the rest of the 6th and 8th grade team. We're going to go over using the basic features of Google that we will be using in our classes during the next upcoming weeks. During the live sessions and the remote sessions, we went over the schedules. We did a See, Think, Wonder. For those of you that are new to our school, this is a common practice where we write down for 1 minute just the features of the images or that we're viewing. Then you write down what you think is going on inside of these images, and then the last part, wonder, is the questions you might have that might help you understand what you're looking at. At this point in the video, I would like you to actually pause and do this portion of the assignment. Now, I am looking over the 604 schedule. If you are not in 604, that is okay. The purpose of this is to understand how to read your class schedule. Welcome back, for those of you that took a break. But I want to go over some of the key portions of the schedule. If you see here, 604 has 2 different schedules. You can find these on the PSIS 119 website. The 2 schedules are labeled blended schedule and remote schedule. You will also notice that it's labeled A, B, C. And again, for those of you who are in Group D, you might wonder, why isn't Group D on the list? So, blended schedule actually means the in-person lessons. This is the schedule for 604 for the students who are actually in the building on those days. The remote schedule is for the remainder of the class on the days when they are home. So let's go over an example. Let's say you are an A student and it is an A day. You will do the blended schedule because this is the in-person schedule. When you get to the school, you will follow this schedule. Now, let's say you are a B or C or even D student on this A day. Since you're not coming into the building, you will follow the remote schedule, which is the at-home schedule. So on A day, since you're not in the building because you're not an A student, you follow the A day at home. If you are a D student, you also follow this schedule because you are at home. Now, let's say it is a B day. If you are a B student, you will come to the building and follow this schedule. The students who are A, C, and D students will actually follow the B schedule. So B students come to the building and follow the blended because that is the in-person schedule or in-building schedule. The remainder of the students, A, C, and D, will follow the B schedule because it is a B day at home. All right, the next portion is making sure that your Teach Hub has all the functions that you need it to have. At this time, you should have all logged into your student IDs for the New York City DOE. When you get to the DOE website or New York City Teach Hub, you will have your home screen. Click on middle school and you will find some of the most popular sites that the middle school in New York City are using. For science, we will be using Clever because that is how you get to amplify. So you need to heart Clever because it will make sure that it stays on your home page. I also suggest hearting some of the more popular apps such as Google Classroom, Google Drive, Zoom, and for those of you who are not native speakers, Google Translate. So again, you would click on middle school. If you heart them, they show up on your favorites page when you log in. The next step that we're going to do is we are going to go over Google Classroom. From the Teach Hub, you can get to Google Classroom quite easily by clicking on the app. It should bring you to a page where you have listed all of your classes. Your page might look different than mine. That's just because I only teach science. So you'll have more classes and more subjects listed here. Now I'm going to pull up 604 just because that's the class we were focusing on for our schedule purposes. And I'm going to go over what goes on your Google Classroom page. On your Google Classroom page, it should bring you directly to your stream. Stream is just where you have all your listed events or questions that are happening in the class. I ask that you make sure that you're keeping this to only science material. If it gets out of hand, I will remove the function that allows you guys to speak to communicate on the website. So again, you have all your classes here. You would click on the class that you're trying to get to. Hopefully it's science and you're always running to do the science work, but the stream will have just all the basic information. A more reliable section would be the classwork. You will see here that I labeled the lessons by number, and lesson 1 is the online tools navigation. This is the lesson you're currently doing. If you click on it, it'll have instructions. It does not have the video linked to it just yet. That's because I don't post the video until after the class is over. So now that you see that has all of this information, in this assignment, I have posted the homework as one of the steps inside of the assignment. If the homework assignment is something that is a larger project or it is something I need you to do separately, you will notice that it will say the lesson number, and it will say classwork and then lesson number homework. So there might be 2 assignments with the same lesson number. That is because one is a homework assignment that I needed you to submit separately. You'll also have access to the people in the class, the grades, getting to your Google Calendar, and having meets. So again, this is the class instructions. You can also click on View Assignment and it'll bring it to this page, which is just a larger version of what you see on the basic page. Our next step is actually going over Google Docs and Google Drive. Now, you guys will have access to this, but it is very important that you understand some of the basic features because you'll be using them all year long. One of the main features is creating a document and sharing it. Today in class, your classmates created an Excel sheet that had a list of all of the group mates, phone numbers, emails, and stuff like that. You will be added to a group and it will be shared with you. Now, again, from the drive, you can create a document, a sheet, which is an Excel file, Google Slides, which is a presentation, and then there's also more options as you go down. So these are the 3 that you're most likely going to use for this class. Now, with the document that you created, it's important to name your document. And I'm going to write Leonie and then test page. This is just a practice. I always put my name first just when I'm submitting it so people know who's working on the project. If I was in a group, I might put group 5 just so somebody knows what they're looking at. It's not necessarily that way, but it makes it easier. Now, multiple people can be working on the page at the same time. So you can type as well as other people at the same time, and you will be able to see each other's work. You will also be able to see the last couple of edits that somebody made. Since I'm the only person, it's not going to show up just yet. But if more people were working on this, this would help you understand who's making the edits. You can also click on this button to add comments. The comments button won't actually write on the page, but simply write some basic information so that send this, so that it doesn't edit the document, but it simply gives other readers information or directions. And then when you have the comments, you can either check that you fixed it or you can delete it because you don't find it important. Now the final step, which is very important that you know how to do, is share. When you share it, you can have the person allowed to edit. That means that they can type on the page, or they can view it only, or they can just make the comments. This is up to you. But if you're working on a group project, it's best that everyone can edit it so that everyone can work on it at the same time. If you want your friends to view your project because you were really proud of it, you would send it as a viewer so they can't change it or delete anything by accident. And then the commenter. Let's say you want to send this to your mom so that you can have your mom give you some feedback on how they feel about your project. For today's homework, you are to share the file with Miss Rogers and myself. So the homework assignment is to create a Google Doc, explain what science means to you, what you think it is used for, and why you like or dislike science. Then share the document with Miss Leonie and Miss Rogers. So here you would write both Miss Rogers and myself and share it with us. Now in the drive, you will have my drive. These are all the things you created. In the shared with me would be all the things that somebody had sent me. So if you created it, it should be in my drive. You can create folders so that you can save all your science stuff in one place. And then you would have the shared with me, meaning somebody sent it to you. Now, I ask that you guys complete the homework assignment, and a bonus point will be given if you answer the question correctly. What is my favorite color? My favorite color is blue. If you write blue on the bottom of your page, I will assume that you had watched the entire video, and that is a bonus point.